big now, real big. That's the real key with that particular part. They're dealing with that real big at the particular time. So that's real key. Like I said, now I told you that both Richard Pryor and Muhammad Ali was the two great bosses of the 1970s, and both of them now fucked up and can't even talk. All of it's based on the white man. Well, it was interesting because every now and then the Spirit will give you further data. So I was dealing with the information on Muhammad Ali and how the white people fed him rat poison and that whole 9 yards when he was going to these hospitals. And now and like I said, anytime they want to hurt you, they give you this lie about Parkinson's disease, because they did the same thing to my aunt. They did the same thing to her, and now they cut one of her veins, and she's shaking now. And the doctor say it's Parkinson's disease. And by her loving the white man so much, he believed that shit. But her home best friend told my brother, said, that motherfucker lying. He said she went in one day, she came out the next week shaking. He said, ain't no Parkinson's disease. They fucked her up by it. He said, putting them wires and shit all up your arm and stuff when you because she was a dialysis patient. He cut the wrong vein, the wrong nerve. And their excuse for all that is Parkinson's disease. So I know, and so now they got a lawsuit on their hand, because my brother said, that motherfucker like, hell, I'm going to get me some money, because, she my legal guardian. Now, he a year younger than me, and he's the legal guardian. And she left him everything in her will, so he like, goddamn it, I'm getting paid. So I'm suing these motherfuckers. She can love the white man, but I'm the legal guardian, so I'm suing. So what the deal is, they use that lie. Now it's interesting. I was in the store. I got a friend that I used to work with, and this black guy. And I go around the store and just shoot the breeze. And I was in there telling him about Muhammad Ali and how the man ain't got no disease, about how he is a government project on which they destroy. Like they give him and a bunch of other black people, but especially him and Richard Pryor. Those were the two great voices after the conscious thing shut down in the 60s. Although you did have consciousness, it came through the entertainment, like the OJs, Curtis Mayfield, you understand what I'm saying, and different people like that. They did bits and pieces. It wasn't as prevalent as the actual conscious movement, but they did bits and pieces. But when it came to Muhammad Ali and them, they were real boisterous at that particular time. So they messed him up big time. So let me tell you what happened here. I'm in the store, and I'm telling them about Muhammad Ali. A brother steps in, and the brother said, I heard the white woman say in the 70s that was going to happen. Now, you remember on the movie The Greatest? Remember he made the movie The Greatest in the 70s? And they had a dialogue about this woman was following Muhammad Ali around. Remember the woman was following him, white woman was following him around. And he was like, what you following me around? She said, I'm following you around one day until they cut you or they do whatever and put you in the grave. Well, they gave the movie version of that, and she said a few things, but the brother came in and was talking. He said the real conversation that she said with him. She said, Ali, you know that big mouth you got? That same mouth you got one day you ain't going to be able to speak out of that damn mouth. And my man Juju, he's very advanced too. He can go back in time and pick up on conversations that were said in private amongst people. And so he said, yeah. He said, I heard a conversation between Muhammad Ali and Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And Muhammad and Honorable Elijah Muhammad was saying, look, you could talk all that junk when you was a pro-black man. Now you a multi-millionaire. You one of the highest paid ever. He said, now you can't be going up getting millions of dollars from these white people and talking that shit. These white people gonna fuck you up. So you can't serve two masters now. You can't be talking all that shit and getting millions and millions of dollars off them. Them white people gonna do something to you. And he gave him a warning like that. But the woman said, the actual conversation that the woman told him, she said, you know that mouth you speak out, that big mouth you speak out, one day you're not going to be able to speak out of that mouth. Now, she was not a prophet or nothing like that, or she was psychic. She was telling them, look, she was telling them that we're going to fuck you up. You see what I'm saying? We're going to mess you up. So that's very key, and that actually happened. That actually happened. And so if you want to understand, if you want to get the background on this, rent the movie The Greatest. Although they didn't give the actual conversation, but they do give this woman, this crazy woman would go to all his fights, this rich white woman. And she was one of the women that was in on what they was going to do to him. And she was like the agent that was monitoring his ass. And later on, it became real. Now, let me give you this particular information on what's actually going down, which to me is probably some of the greatest prophecy fulfilled. Now, to let you know I'm not bullshitting, I'm going to send the June 1st tape up. The June 1st tape, I did a tape in Atlanta on June the 1st. I'm going to send that tape to Philadelphia because it's so, I mean, it was almost as if they was listening to the conversation that I was having in the actual tape because it's playing out the same way. Now, let me go into this history so you can understand what the hell is going on. And so you can understand what's going on. First of all, let me see how I have this lined up. Let me see how I have this lined up. I want to give it to you the same way I got this thing lined up. Okay, yeah. I think I'll give it to you this way. Remember, I don't know who has the tape. The Sister Delilah might have the tape. You got the tape. The one, I think, I'll tell you what, you did the tape. You got the tape. I think it's the tape on something about the Enochian something. Enochian Notes of the Yaku. I think that's the one. Now, in that tape, I dealt with the Ethiopian Book of Enoch. The Ethiopian Book of Enoch in that tape. Now, all Book of Enoch are from Ethiopia. So anyone you get is the same Ethiopian Book of Enoch. The only other book that didn't come from Ethiopia on the Book of Enoch is one coming out of Yugoslavia. In Hungary. And it's some shit. I'm up in the metaphysical bookstore. This sister came in. She looked like Delilah. You know what I'm saying? But she had, her hair was straightened, so therefore I had to look real hard to her. You know, I know it was a white woman talking, you know. And we kind of got a little reddish a little bit, so. But she had an accent. Otherwise, like, when she got up on me, I could tell she was black. I said, oh, you a sister, you know, and she was talking, had this accent, though. She said, I'm from Hungary. What the hell? I said, did you move to Hungary? She said, no. She said, there's a whole black element in Hungary and Yugoslavia. I said, what the hell? She said, yeah, I'm black. I'm a Moor. And she was telling me the history of the Moors and how she was a whole black. I said, you'll never know it based on these crackers. And she was telling me that. But I was saying that because they got a Book of Enoch also in Hungary and also Yugoslavia, the Slavic Book of Enoch. But most of the Book of Enoch you can get, the one you can get, the bigger volume is by H.J. No, R.H. Charles. The Hartech book is a different thing. That's not the Book of Enoch. That's the secret keys of Enoch. That's different. The guy, the number one seller of Kessinger's publication, which is the out of print book, the number one seller in the country is right here in Philadelphia. Your boy, Isaac at the Reading Terminal. And they have the actual Book of Enoch. The one that I'm going to give you, I'll give you the chapter number. This is a specialized one coming from from Cambridge. But the other one, I have the other version, but that's the one you want to get. That one the one that sell downtown in the Reading Terminal. It costs what, about $40? R.H. Charles is the one you want. The Book of Enoch, the one you want is the R.H. Charles, $35 or $40, that big one. Because that one is the prophecy. Now, when I was here in that Enochian physics, I read you a passage out of this book, and I'm getting ready to read this passage now. And this is prophecy being fulfilled. Because I got the tape in Atlanta, Georgia, on June the 1st. I got the tape in Atlanta when I did a lecture in June the 1st, and I said that these things are getting ready to happen. And these things are getting ready to happen. The Spirit revealed to me what was going to happen on Malcolm X's birthday, because they had a Malcolm X festival in Atlanta. They had one in Atlanta. And I don't usually go to it, but this day I went to it, and man, people was up there, and they were very happy because somebody came to town with some good damn news. Let me explain this shit to you. Let me explain this to you. And this is prophecy being fulfilled. In the book of Enoch, chapters 11 to 13, but chapter 11 to 13, in the book of Enoch, do me a favor. I need to go up in my room. I got a little green case. I think it's right there on the thing and all. I got to get some vitamin C. I'm sweating and all, and and I But anyway, this was revealed to me at the time of Malcolm's birthday, and something kept telling me. Something said, go to the actual festival. And when I went to the actual festival, see, we had a great, big, huge Afrocentric community in Atlanta. But after the Siggy ceremony in '94, something happened and everybody dispersed. And although you still have contact because it's a major city, the community has never been close-knit like it was in '94. But when I went to the actual, conference, well, the actual celebration, everybody was walking around happy. And I said, wait a minute, because I kept telling my girl, I said, we need to go here today, because we was on our way to the movies. Because that's what I do. I go and it was something out there I had to go to the cipher. But I said, something kept telling me all day, man, you need to turn around and go to the Malcolm X Festival. Turn around and go. And when we went, I met up with Juju. He was down there selling the guy I told you, this great psychic. But the people were very happy. And walking around, they say, no. They say, we got a meeting to go to tomorrow. They got some great news. And we got a meeting to go to tomorrow. And all this is vitamin C, some vitamin E with C and some seafood or whatever. And they said they were very happy. But what happened is this. Let me explain this to you. The guy, Dr. Brock, that's his name, Father Reparation, was in town. Okay. And just remember that when I give you this particular information. Let me just take this. Now, was it Dr. Brock? Father of Reparation. Now, what I'm talking about here is on chapters 11 and 13 in the book of Enoch. And this is what it says. And Enoch went to Azazel. Now, Azazel in here is equivalent to Yakub. Or he's equivalent to the evil portion. Maybe Set Typhon in the ancient Egyptian thing. Same thing. It's Set Typhon in Egypt. You got to trace the mythology wherever. And it says Azazel. Now, this is the Ethiopian book of Enoch. They couldn't put this one along with the New Testament. Number one, it's coming from Ethiopia. Number one, it's older than the damn New Testament. And number two, it's so precise on who the people going to die up in here until it was so obvious they couldn't manipulate the scriptures. So they say, okay, we can't put that in the Old Testament. You see what I'm saying? We can't put that in the Old Testament. Because remember, the Old Testament was written 700 years after the death of so-called the high priest of ancient Egypt that they called Moses, which was a priest of Amun-Ra, Musa, whatever that motherfucker name was, a traitor king who hauled ass with Akhenaten. But anyway, this particular Enoch, the book of Enoch. Now, Enoch is the Egyptian Tahuti. So we know that even though this is from Ethiopia, they probably got it by way of pillaging the Library of Alexandria or whatever. Because the Library of Egypt did not just consist of meta scriptures. They got the Library of Egypt had writings from Samaria. It had writings from all over the ancient black world that was housed in these Egyptian temples, because they didn't view themselves as different people as we think they did. So now in here it says that this particular Enoch, who is Tahuti at this time, which is a great warner, is talking to Azazel. And he said, you will never have peace. He's talking to this particular, in this case, this is in the future, because it tells you this particular book is taking place basically now. So in mythology, it's talking about currents going on, one evil current and one positive current, which is also in black and white people. And it says right here that Enoch says, you will never, he said that you will never have peace. A severe sentence will come out against you, and you should be bound. So this is eschatology in the future. And you will neither have rest, nor mercy, nor granting of any petition, because of the wrong you have taught, and because all the works of blasphemy and wrong and sin, which you have shown the sons of men, which is us. Because we are in this particular country, basically, with not a mind of our own. And everything, even the way we think, is what's been taught to us, indoctrination. So it says that you're going to have problems because you have shown certain wrongs and iniquities to the sons of men. And I went and spoke to them together. And this is the key right here. This is the key right here. I went and spoke to them together, and they were afraid, and fear and trembling seized them. And fear and trembling seized them, which means they're scared. But just like the book Secret of the Andes by Brother Phillips said, which is 1954, which I thought was kind of profound for a white man to say that the most evil country on the earth at that particular time in 1956 was the United States. At that time, the only people was calling this country evil was damn the Nation of Islam, maybe Noble Ali and whatever. But for a white person in the middle of Ozzie and Harriet, that's amazing. But he said it, his words verbatim in the last days, that these people will be scared and trembling. But yet they must go on and maintain the status quo, that their reign will be forever. Honorable Elijah Muhammad said the same thing. That they'll keep on building buildings and stuff, and stuff, and make you think that their reign is going on forever, but yet they'll be trembling. And it says, shaking in their boots. So they say these particular people who are the ruling people, this is the ruling people in this book, the ones that's ruling the world. They were trembling and they were together. And fear seized them. Now look at this. And trembling seized them. They asked me, which Tahuti or whatever is a divine recorder, recording laws. So in this case, they can, up here now, the only thing they have to do is to make a certain gesture or to make a certain gesture or make a certain plea. It's the same of asking the spirit, other than going to a certain figure and asking. Only it's the world scheme thing. All they got to do is speak it into existence. You understand? Because that's how this war is playing out. So they came and asked me. They came and asked me to write a record and a petition that they may receive forgiveness, and to take the record and petition to the Lords of heaven. So that means the only thing they got to do is make a certain plea or a certain goodwill type of move. And they, and it says, and for they themselves were unable to speak, and they did not raise their heads and their eyes to heaven out of shame of their sins, and that they had been commanded. Now, what they condemned, that they had been condemned. What they mean by they're not being able to speak? They're talking about the wool being pulled from under their eye, over their eyes, and they know that ultimately they can't hide from the damn spirit realm. Now, and I wrote the record for them in the petition and their supplication to, and in regard to their spirit and deeds in each of them, and in regard to what they asked. And mainly they should obtain, it says, absolution and forbearance. And when I sat down by the waters of Dandan on the southwest of Hermon, and they say Mount Hermon, they're talking about a spiritual place where our energy or our system later on reaches to a certain plateau. It's called Mount Hotep, Mount Olympus, Mount Hermon, Mount of Olives, Mount Manu, you see, Mount Zion, all that's talking about the earth going to a particular realm. As a matter of fact, Mount Olympus, they have the Olympic Games during that particular time, which is all relevant to what happened in Atlanta. And I read out the record and their petition until I fell asleep. Now, this is what it says here. It goes on to say, be sure to know, it goes on to say that the petition was rejected from the Lord of heaven. It was